Welcome to the Explainer. If you're running a CPA firm, you get it. The pressure is just relentless. Today, we're going to dig into how offshoring has evolved. It's not just about cutting costs anymore. It's a powerful strategic tool for building a firm that's truly future-proof, one that can handle whatever comes its way. So let's kick things off with a question that probably hits a little too close to home for anyone in the accounting game. You feel it, right? That constant squeeze? Tax season deadlines rushing at you while the cost of good talent and just keeping the lights on keeps climbing. It feels like that challenge gets bigger and bigger every single year. And here's the thing, it's not just in your head. This isn't just a feeling. It's a real structural problem. We're talking about the modern CPA's dilemma. And it's basically created by this perfect storm of challenges that's completely changing the game for accounting firms. I mean, look at this. Firms are just getting hammered from all sides. Your clients want everything yesterday. Tax season? Well, it completely buries your team. And trying to find great local talent, it's expensive and honestly, they're hard to find. So what happens? You end up stuck in the daily grind, just managing tasks instead of doing that high-value advisory work that actually grows your firm. Okay, so what do you do about it? The real key here is to look at the problem differently. You have to reframe it. This isn't just about cutting costs or trimming the budget. No, this is a capacity issue. And fixing it means you have to totally rethink how your firm operates from the ground up. And this is where that strategic shift really clicks into place. On one side, you've got all the old hurdles, the high cost of local hiring, your staff getting completely burned out during the busy season, and everyone just bogged down in repetitive work. But on the other side, that's the strategic solution. You get access to a global talent pool. You get scalable teams that can handle those crazy workload spikes, and you finally free up your people to focus on that high-value client advisory work. It's all about building the capacity for real, sustainable growth. All right, let's get specific here. What are we really talking about when we say offshore accounting? It's simple. It's the smart delegation of those routine, super time-consuming tasks. And listen, the goal here is not to replace your U.S. team, not at all. It's to free them up, to give them back their bandwidth so they can focus on what they do best. The strategic thinking, building client relationships, and that high-level advisory stuff. So what kind of tasks are a perfect fit for this? Well, we're talking about those high-volume foundational jobs. The things that are absolutely essential, but let's be honest, don't need a partner looking over every single step. Things like bookkeeping, reconciliations, tax prep, work paper management. The real engine room of the firm. Okay, that brings up a big question. Why India? Why has India become the go-to hub for so many firms looking to build out this engine room? Well, it's not random. It's actually driven by some really powerful, really strategic advantages. Yeah, it really boils down to this incredible combination of factors. First off, you've got this vast pool of qualified accountants and tax pros who are already trained in US GAAP and IRS compliance. They get the workflow, they know the system. But the real game changer, it's that time zone advantage. Think about it. That time zone difference creates what's essentially a 24-hour work cycle. So while your US team is home for the night, your team in India is busy preparing returns and organizing work papers. You literally walk into the office in the morning and a whole chunk of work is already done. This just massively speeds up your turnaround times and takes so much pressure off during tax season. Now, of course, hearing all this raises some big questions. And for a lot of firm owners, this is where the brakes get pumped. So let's just tackle the biggest concerns head on, right? We're talking about control, compliance, and security. And this is it, isn't it? The number one question. Will I lose control? It's a totally valid question to ask because that fear is real. But the answer isn't about giving up control. Not at all. It's about putting the right structure in place and, crucially, picking the right partner who helps you maintain that control. See, a successful partnership really rests on these 4 pillars. First, you need absolutely ironclad security and data protection, non-negotiable. Second, you have to verify they have real, hands-on expertise with US accounting and tax rules. Third, you need crystal clear communication and ways to track the workflow. And finally, the team has to be able to scale up or down with your needs. If you get these 4 things right, it's no longer a leap of faith. It's just a smart, structured, and really reliable process. And how you roll this out is just as important. You don't just flip a switch overnight. No, you do it methodically. You start small, maybe with some well-defined repetitive tasks. You document everything so expectations are super clear, and you make sure your own internal team is doing the final review to maintain quality. Then, as that trust builds and you're seeing the results for yourself, you can gradually give them more responsibility. This way, you never, ever compromise on quality or control. All right, so you've done the work. You've put this strategic system in place. What's the payoff? What does that after picture really look like for your firm and, just as importantly, for your team? The benefits here go way beyond just adding headcount. This is a fundamental upgrade to how your firm operates. Your efficiency skyrockets, turnaround times get way faster, and that dreaded staff burnout starts to disappear. But the most important point is this. It frees up your most valuable asset, your local team's time, so they can finally focus on strategy and building those deep client relationships. Okay, even with all these amazing benefits, I know there are probably still a few questions lingering in the back of your mind. Let's tackle the big one right out of the gate, security. So, is it secure? The short answer is yes, but with a huge asterisk. Security isn't just something that happens with offshoring. It all comes down to the partner you choose. A good partner, a reputable one, will have robust IT, strict access controls, and serious compliance protocols. For them, it's not an add-on, it's the absolute baseline. All right, next up is the other big concern, quality. How in the world do you maintain your firm's high standards when the work is being done thousands of miles away? Absolutely, you can, and here's why. Because you never actually give up control of the quality. You're the one setting up the clear workflows and the documentation. And your own internal team is still doing that final review. You're always the final say. Think of it this way. The offshore team handles the prep work, but you're the one who guides the process and gives that final stamp of approval. And finally, let's bust a common myth. There's this idea out there that this is a strategy that's only for the huge national firms. You know what, though? In reality, it's often the other way around. You could argue that smaller firms actually get the biggest benefit here. Why? Because it gives them access to scalability and resources they could only dream of before, all without taking on crushing overhead. It really does level the playing field, allowing them to compete with the big guys. And this quote really just sums it all up, doesn't it? This is about a massive mindset shift. Offshore CPA services aren't just a way to cut costs on a spreadsheet. No. They are a strategic tool, an investment in building a firm that's more scalable, more sustainable, and truly ready for the future. So, we'll leave you with this one final thought. Just imagine for a second, what if your team was totally freed from the daily grind of all those repetitive tasks? What if they could focus 100% of their energy on high-value advisory work and strategic client growth? What kind of future could you build for your firm then?